Hey guys, who's on? Regina. Hey Regina, hey Sergio. Hello guys. Hey guys.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey Regina, hey Sergio, how are you?
Good, good. How you doing, Zach? How you doing, Regina?
Regina, how are you? All right, you have it up? You see it, my friend?
Yeah, I can see the slide you have, which is like looks good. It looks very professional. Good job.
Which one you want to do first? This one or this one?
The green one. Yeah, the green one.
The green one goes first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All
That's
right.
what I put on there.
I'm switching.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I just like put some basic bullet points just to generate a discussion going and see how it goes.
Oh, Regina, how are you? Where is she?
She's probably on mute.
I might expect a couple
Sometimes
more
sometimes people put it on and then they just like go and do something before it comes.
Yeah, because it's 5 minutes left. There's a guy that registered, and then we only saw one. He only saw one person attending, and he said, I'm not attending." So it's good to have people.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah,
Dude,
of course.
that shit looked good yesterday. You sent me. We can do something with that Georgian dinner on the on Sunday. Sorry, fucking be amazing.
What's that called? Yeah.
Marani. You gonna come?
It's on Saturday, right?
On Sunday.
Oh, it's on Sunday. What?
Yeah.
Sunday? What time?
12.
Crap! I thought it was the 3rd. Wasn't it the 3rd?
Hi, Regina. Regina's
Hello. I was on my phone because I was on another meeting on the computer, so I'm switching everything over.
Oh, okay. It was a stock meeting too?
No, it was a Toastmasters. I was.
Oh, wow. So you do Toastmasters? Why don't you join my history? You'll love it because we do presentations, and tomorrow we do a Rise of Hitler. It would be interesting.
Okay.
Rise. So I'll send you a Zoom link, and you register for my history thing. And Sergio knows it. It's like one of the best out there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It is. Yeah, that's a real group. Unlike this one. No, I'm kidding. I know that was me.
You're dissing my group.
It's different.
Our group.
It's different.
Our group.
Exactly.
No, but look, we're getting it together. Look, kickboxing. You know, you've been coming. Now you're not coming anymore. So I have a pickle.
That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Well, are you gonna play?
The 7 a.m. ones are tough for me.
What about volleyball? You're gonna come to play volleyball on Saturday, 12th? We're gonna do the Thermopylae. We're gonna listen over our phones and play volleyball.
Oh wow. Well, this is my birthday weekend coming up, so I will be in Georgetown, Virginia.
Oh wow, that's so fun. I know like 2 other people that have a birthday on October 2nd.
Really? Mine's the 4th, but I celebrate the whole weekend.
I gotta make sure that I invest in IPOs on October 2nd, Regina's birthday.
On the 4th.
4th.
Yeah, October 4th.
So I don't know if I texted Zoom to everybody. Let's see, Wendy and what's his name?
Yeah, listen, I know my people are gonna come in a little late, five minutes in, 6 minutes. That's always the case. So unless it's all right.
Afshin is one of your people.
Yeah, Afshin and Aaron said that they were gonna come on, and I also another friend from work, Jared, who if he puts his kids to sleep, he'll come on, and then another guy, Ding.
Ding.
Yeah, his name is Ding. Yeah. He's Vietnamese, and He does some other type of trading too. He was telling me about it.
But Regina,
Mhm.
Regina, we're going to talk a little bit about stocks today too. So it's going to be real estate by
Okay.
Sergio, and then we're going to talk about 5 stocks today. They're
Okay.
so red hot. Hi, Rachel. How are you? So we're going to talk about. So I'll just take you through some of this stuff. I don't want to.
So why the market is so red this week?
I'm sorry?
The market is so red this week. The market is very red.
I know. It's terrible. I don't know. What AMD did well today, right? It was $2.
Yeah.
Did you sold AMD, right? So
Yeah, I optioned that one.
So I wanted to actually contact you because the IBD, which is what we're teaching, cancel it. There's this huge one in Boston, and if you can, sign up for this service as well. And they had a marathon of 8 hours on Saturday. They talked about how to pick the IPOs, which is the using the IPO edge. It's amazing. I was blown out of water.
Really?
Okay, they will tell you how to read that, IBD charts, how to pick the stock. When they also said that we have to wait for, Friday was a good day for tech companies. And then what happened is they didn't have a follow through. Follow through is when the average volume goes up from a prior day, and they didn't see that. And they totally were right because today was, Monday was like an okay day. Today was like not a good day. So follow through day, they're waiting for that so that it will turn around. First, they thought it was a correction where all the technical stocks are going to go, lower. And then basically, people sold out, obviously, out of positions. But still, they said they're going to be a follow-through day. And follow-through day requires certain, variables to be hit. And one of them is volume from a prior day has to be up. And NASDAQ volume is not up. Therefore, we're not back into the normal growth stage, or they call it uptrend. We're right now in leveling or downtrend. The market corrected, so stay away from tax if you can. But I'll still go over today that, one of the ones that I've been discussing in my other group, Beyond Meat, broke out today, was up like 11%. And it's a big stock.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for a couple of people. But today's discussion is going to be, Sergio is going to start out. He's going to talk about exciting real estate investments, and
just like a general. Let's try to get a conversation going.
So,
by the way,
about
Sergio, I want to play your video here too, if you don't mind, or you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I don't care if you want to. That's fine.
So Sergio is also our expert New Yorker. And knows a lot about New York. not an expert, but he knows a lot about New York.
Not really. So the purpose of that video that I made is that because I'm in the hospitality industry, Regina, and so obviously we've been hit with lack of tourism for obvious reasons. So we're just and I'm still thankfully employed. So rather than us sitting around doing nothing, waiting things to do, my boss came up with an idea of just trying to create little promos, whether it be a video, whether it be a picture, whether it be just a smart email, send it to our guests that have been staying with us throughout the years, and let them know, hey, listen, we're still here, and it's still New York, and we're ready when you're ready, type of deal. You know what I mean? Kind of like a campaign.
Right.
And that's why I made that video.
Yeah.
If I send a link to a messenger, because I'm having a friend that just can't log in for some reason, but I think that's something to do with his thing. Hold on, I'm gonna text Ashton right now saying that we're on, because they're notoriously late. They're fashionably late.
Ashton is gonna take over the meeting from here.
That's okay. And Aaron, which is sometimes a no-show. Hey, we're on.
So, Regina, what stocks you've been dabbing into these days, or nothing?
I did.
I hope you didn't do INO. I mean, that thing crashed because they're Their stage 2 was pulled by FDA due to the questions that they had. So it wasn't going well for them. In no view. So stay away from that stock, even though it's cheap right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't buy Nikola because
Oh, no.
what happened is Nikola had a SEC inquiry in their short selling. So their CEO Milton was selling short, and today 2 women came out with a sexual harassment case against him, and he stepped down. So the worst case of it, him stepping down, basically saying like, "Screw you, company is going in tailspin right now." And
Wow,
it went
yeah.
from $50 to $18, and it's going to go even worse.
Mhm.
And on top of it, General Motors pulled out the $2 billion investments in them, and they said we haven't signed it yet because they wanted to use their batteries, and they wanted to basically have a collaboration with Nikola GM, and they said we haven't signed a $2 billion loan yet, so therefore don't get your beacons wet. So that's a third problem. I saw Moderna today was doing well because of the fact that their drug considered to be the safest for the, so that would be something you look at. Novavax is still very strange. I won't touch that. Yeah, I mean, that's that as far as I'm concerned. And today we're going to talk about a bunch of other stocks, and we'll look through IBD, and the Thinkorswim. Did you open a Thinkorswim account?
I did open Thinkorswim, but I think it's something with this laptop. It won't let me get those charts on there. It's the way that it's presenting the whole layout. Some stuff I can't do, and I'm thinking it's something to do with the applications on this computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, one of these days I'll pull it up. Like maybe, I want to move this meeting to Thursday because it seems to be like Aston and his, buddy can't log in on Tuesdays for some reason. He hadn't been back.
Yeah, Ashton, he's in the emergency room right now. That's what he said. He said I'm in the ER. Whatever. What I don't know what that means.
I hope it's okay.
Is he administering or he's a patient? Because with Afshin, I don't know. Sometimes he plays a doctor. Sometimes he plays, he's like, Catch Me If You Can. Leonardo DiCaprio. That's Afshin.
Oh yeah, con artist. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Today he's this. Tomorrow he's Ayatollah, president of Iran.
Hey, listen. Who knows? You never know. So
he's like a Greg of our history group. Greg only smiles at you, but he is a Russian spy. It's
he is.
006 below 007.
Yeah. How long is your presentation, Zach?
No, you going first.
Okay, no, I was gonna say if yours is not that long, then maybe you go first, and then if people come on, then maybe. Oh, I don't care either way.
Yeah, the problem is that I gotta monitor people coming in because they implemented this stupid waiting room. When you log in, it doesn't take you straight into the meeting. I have to pop them in.
Is that something that they started doing, or you just added that?
No, they started doing it themselves because I guess there's a lot of Jeromes out there that's crashing the meetings.
Oh, I thought it was something because a lot of people come in late, and so now they go into this waiting room to discourage them from being, tardy. You know what I mean? So making them more punctual. I thought that was which I thought was a good idea because people sometimes come in 10 minutes after, and so forth. So okay, so now they put waiting rooms. Okay, so also I see.
If you want, I can start first. I'm just gonna keep checking. Let me start first then. All right. So, and I'm just gonna keep checking whenever it's gonna say like waiting room, whatever. All right. So, like I said, Sergio's gonna do his real estate. So today I'm gonna be talking about 5 or 6 stocks that might be, either broke out or will break out. So I'm gonna start with CrowdStrike. What is CrowdStrike? With cybersecurity that's happening, they're basically one of the cybersecurity companies that's located in Sunnyside, California. What's so good about them? So CrowdStrike, besides being a cybersecurity, Aaron is here. I admitted him. Okay.
What's up, Aaron?
Hi, Aaron. So,
Hey, how's it
how are
going?
you? Good, good.
Good. Hey, Aaron. Thanks for coming, man.
So besides being a cybersecurity company, I mean, I'm sorry, Sergio, you wanted to say something?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what do they do? Why are they so different from everybody else? What they do is they also provide a cloud native, easy to use endpoint protection solution. So whenever you basically, you have a cloud-based solution for cybersecurity that's easy to load onto your computer, this is one of the top performance. So what's good about this? Basically, they're saying, you know, that the CrowdStrike has made some significant strides into cybersecurity, and their revenue growth went from 52.7 million in the fiscal year 2017, ending in January 31st, to almost you know, 10 times more right now. It's 654 million, 0.3. It's almost, I mean, close to 700 million basically over the last 12 months. So it's crazy growth for them because obviously we know about phishing and people trying to fish into the emails and, you know, download the Trojan horse and whatnot. So their strategy is basically produces outstanding results. Their customer subscription was, you know, increased, you know, 17% over the last 3 years, which is crazy. And what they do is they also do acquisitions. So this is one of their stocks. I mean, their stock price is kind of expensive right now, but they're almost at the breakout process. So remember, Regina, I was telling you about that we have to look at the follow-through day, right? So IBD canceling teaches us basically whenever you have a volume that goes up from a prior 52-week average, and we know NASDAQ has been taking 12% hit, or a prior day, it has to be consistent for 5 days. If the volume goes up from a prior day or a 52-week average for 5 days, that means it's a follow-through day, and therefore tech stocks will rebound. That's been the history of it. So the tech stocks were down 12%, which is NASDAQ was down 12% since the highs of August. All right, next stock. I'm just gonna go through them, and I'm gonna go through IBD chart. All right, so next stock, we're gonna talk about Square. You know, everybody knows what Square is, right? It's, you know, it's process payroll, you know, payment type of software. Mostly it's on your mobile application. Payments, you know, we know their competitors, right? Venmo, admit Dennis here. Just admit Dennis. We know Venmo. We know, you know, Zello, and this is one of those companies that basically provides the payments, payroll type of thing. And so they're one of the top performing stocks. And what happened is, you know, their big stock price for this year has returned about 1,100%. I'm talking about 1,100% over the past 5 years. This is crazy. 5 years ago, you invest Square, you know, Square, it's unbelievable. This year alone, it was up 150%. It's crazy. And so what allows the, you know, Square technology to be that good? So basically, there is more room to run for the stock, right? Well, let me just go through numbers. So the second quarter said revenue jumped 64% from the same period previous year, which is 1.9 billion, while the gross profit rose 28%, all right, to 597, because they probably invest money to their R&D, and therefore cost of doing business has increased. Cash App generated a big chunk of it. I mean, Cash Applications, obviously, which is 1.2 billion revenues and 181 million in gross profit in the quarter. Has about 30 million active users. This is crazy. In June, users in June, while the Cash Card, debit card tied to the Cash Application, showed about 7 million users. So they're growing. It gained, these gains made up a 7% drop in revenue from the seller side of the business as transactions slowed due to the shutdown. So Square, what is good? Because it's an application, so a mobile service, right? So right now, do we really want to use, basically swipe our cards? No, we want to use the mobile service to transfer the money and pay for things. As we know that, online payments are growing. So how much is the room they have to grow? So Square has been dragged down about 5%, therefore this month in tech sell-off. Remember I told you NASDAQ is down 12% from the August highs, but multipliers remain very high. Should the bubble burst, would Square still remain a good investment? Yes. For long-term investors, this answer is yes. Long-term trends boosting Square and the market-leading position it enjoys are just too good. Even if there is a crash or bubble, and any other term you want to use for correction, it will be short-term. Long-term Square will be there. Okay, next stock. I'll go quickly. Livongo. What is Livongo, right? So, for example, if Afshin right now is in a poor guy in emergency, but let's say he didn't need emergency, he would go on Livongo and he says, he would use those services to see the doctor. So it's a telemedical type of service. And so what happened? Their stock price went up this year alone 424%. All right. And their competitor is Teladoc. I mean, we all know what Teladoc is, right? People want to get services over, from a physician or any other doctor. They call it Teladoc, basically.
Basically like a program?
It's an internet medical, room type of service. So therefore, before you used to go in person, now you just call the doctor and say, this hurts, that hurts. My mouth is dry at night. I go to the bathroom. Okay, so you have type 1 diabetes. They give you kind of a diagnosis. Based on, maybe you go to the local lab and you take the blood work and, based on all that, they kind of put it all together. But you can express, some of the red lights would probably hit. Anyway, however, Livongo is still losing money. So you got to be very careful here. Though the red ink has slowed because of this increased revenue, it still lost 7.2 million over the past 6 months. The company primary business is managing chronic health conditions such as diabetes and hypertension, and is hoping to see some economic of scale with a merger with Teladoc, which specializes in virtual care. One thing is there was a merger announced. So Teladoc and Livongo is going to merge. Do you want to take a chance and buy Livongo right now? And then when they merge, the merge is going to be, it might grow until that merge, but Teladoc would also grow. So maybe you want to buy Teladoc, it's cheaper stock, and therefore when they merge, you won't have to worry about the price. And the merge is supposed to happen in the end of November. It's already been announced. So the Teladoc announced revenue is about 260 million through 6 months. That's their competitor now. It's their parent company. It's going to be their parent company. They were 59% ahead of the same period 2019. Teladoc, like Livongo, is still losing money though, including 55.3 million in the first 2 quarters. What do you get when you add one growing company that's losing money to another growing company that's losing money? A bigger company that's still losing money. So you got to be careful. There's a legitimate concern that the rise in telemedicine will slow once the pandemic does, and when the pandemic goes away, and Livongo stock price will come crashing down. So they're saying that, we know it's not going to go away, right? Because of the fact that UK right now is closing down. France just announced that they're closing their bars, they're closing their movie theaters, they're closing everything back down. And New York, I just sent an article to everybody today. New York is thinking of shutting down again.
I know. But they're not shutting down the schools. They might close some of the schools.
Right.
Yeah.
So after Sergio's presentation, I'll go through all those stocks, but the last one I'm gonna do. I'm sorry, actually, last two. I want to do this Beike. Okay, what is Beike or KE Holdings Inc. Right? It's the Chinese real estate online advertisement, just like a Zillow, but it's for China. So think of it: people that live in suburban China wanted to move to middle class neighborhoods. So what they do is, a lot of this service has been growing because of a lot of the suburban families wanted to move in Shanghai and all those cities, and this type of services has been growing. They actually been doing better than Zillow. I have back-to-back comparison to Zillow, right? So the revenue estimate, if you look at Zillow in December 2020 estimate, 3.22 billion, and KE, which is the company I was just talking about, is 9.36 billion. Okay, it's 10, almost 12 times bigger. Year-over-year growth, Zillow 17.4%, and KEH is 144%. Forward price sales, it's probably the same, and forward PE is about 114.31. So it's much bigger than Zillow in China, and therefore it is pretty big. So, and the last stock, and we want to talk about Beyond Meat. Obviously grass-fed cows right now, it's big deal. So what happened today? Why did stock jump today? So Beyond Meat had signed an exclusive with Walmart, and their meat is going to be sold at 2,400 stores right now. So is that good? Yes, it's great. And stock went up, responded 11%. In fact, I also got a notice today from the Investment Business Daily that this stock broke out, meaning that it basically is at the best pivot point to buy a stock within a week. Obviously, if you bought it yesterday, you would have made that 11% today, but it's still not a bad stock to buy. Again, that's not a recommendation. It's just, so they're saying, so now what? This Walmart announcement is a big deal. The Beyond Meat shareholders are right to be excited. Long-term distribution deals with the retail outlet and food services chains will need to continue to keep the revenue growth coming. So they're saying, in order for the stock to be up this much, and the stock is $163 right now, you need to keep producing revenue, and therefore, this may not be enough. If the company can keep it up, the growth stock can still reward a patient investor from here, even after its big gains so far in 2020. So they're still saying there's rooms to grow. But remember, the Beyond Meat is double this year already, so you gotta be careful. All right, and then we'll go to Sergio's presentation. After that, I'll go to the IBD charts as we analyze those six stocks. Okay, go ahead, Sergio.
Okay, thank you. So I think first we could go around and introduce ourselves real quick, just so we know, who's everybody. I'll start myself. My name is Sergio, and I'm a small-time real estate investor. I only even started about 5 years ago. I have 2 properties, about 5 doors, and I'm very passionate about it. I like to study the trends, different markets from different areas, not just New York, interest rates, and different strategies. So today I just want to talk about where the real estate market is and where it's going to be in the next couple of months. Now that things are, still not normal, a lot of changes ahead. So I just want to have basically an overview of a prediction. But again, this is just simply guesstimates. So feel free to weigh in on your opinions and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I guess me and Sergio started this group about 2 months ago, right, Sergio?
A little more, but yeah, sounds right.
So my name is Zach. I work in the financial services industry. I'm more closely to stocks, but I've been always, dealing mostly with fixed income products. And so I'm learning as you guys are, and now I'm particularly invested and interested in this called canceling program, which is basically outlines, each letter stands for something. And if you guys continue coming, you'll learn how to best invest in the long-term stocks, not the swing trade, not the daily trade. And we go through in detail through top stocks every time we get through it. And me and Sergio, all part of other groups as well. So that's basically it. Regina, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, I'm Regina Cody. I live in Washington, D.C., from Alabama, and just learning all I can about finance and how to better position myself financially.
Aaron?
I can't see you guys. Hold on. You guys can't see me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we can see you.
You can see me now. Okay.
Yeah.
My name's Aaron. I just look for good investments, do the best I can, and jack of all trades in a way, master a few, not none. Some things I'm good at. I mean, I'm a teacher. That's one of the things I do for my day job. But like I said, I'm also a real estate investor, and I do a little bit with stocks too, and help run a couple businesses.
Very nice.
Cool. Nice. Okay. Ding. Hello, Din. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Coming.
Hey.
So yeah, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a cab driver,
Yeah.
a forex day trader,
A very good one, from what I understand.
20% profit a day.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm thinking about quitting my cab and just doing that full time.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Good. And you also have some real estate too, right? That's why I invited you.
Yep.
So you're pretty diversified. Good. Good.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Is that everybody? Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, sweetie.
Oh, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Rachel. I work in regulatory services and I'm definitely interested in learning more.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thanks for coming. All right, so so let's start with the first slide. And just want to give an overview of real estate prices and what makes things what they are, you know? Some are obvious and some are not. Some I think it's worth discussing. So basically what drives real estate prices is a few things. And the more common one is supply and demand. Basically, the more demand there is and the less supply obviously drives the price up, right? We know certain neighborhoods pre-pandemic, such as in Brooklyn and Queens, property comes out in the market and there's a bid war, and more times than not, the seller would get full asking price. That's usually the case when there's just a lot of demand and just a few listings for that particular location or property type. So that drives the price. And then the other way around is if there's too much supply and very little demand, if you got 10 people selling the same house in the 2-block radius, chances are the properties are going to sit there for a while. And if they sit there for a while, then the prices usually go down. So that's definitely something to consider. And then another thing that also affects prices is employment. You know, employment is obviously a major part of not just this country, but all countries. People can't afford a mortgage if they're not working or pay rent if you're looking to buy a property to invest in. So that's something definitely that needs to be taken into consideration, regardless of where you buy. And then another one is interest rates. Interest rates definitely affect prices because obviously the better the interest rates, the more opportunity there is to buy at a lower rate. You know, obviously it's more appealing for the buyer because they save on money. Okay. But the higher interest rates, that could affect the prices. Sometimes the prices will go down because they realize, okay, well, I mean, if they have to take out a loan and it's going to cost them 6% on top of a house that costs, $600,000-700,000, they might realize that, okay, we can't list it for that high. We're not getting enough offers. So those are definitely things that will affect real estate prices. And then the fourth one, which I think is very debatable now, is proximity, right? Proximity basically means where you are in relation to things. For example, if you work in Midtown and you want to be close to your job, you want to live in an area where it's as close as can be, right? At least that's most people's mentality. For example, you probably want to live, if you could afford to live somewhere in the area. Maybe you end up paying $3,000 for a 1-bedroom, which is a lot of money, or at least a few train stops away. Or you just want to be where it's closer to the train, or you want to be close to where the bars and restaurants are, or you want to be close to where the supermarkets. Proximity is a major factor of the prices, what determines the price of something. But now it seems like that specific reason it could become in question, because now we hear all this talk that people are going to start working from home. Companies are not going to be necessarily setting up shop in major cities. So it doesn't really matter where you live. In fact, people might end up opting to live someplace where it's cheaper and still make the same money and perhaps get a better quality of life, perhaps a bigger home, a bigger apartment with more bedrooms, a balcony, a driveway. All these things might change proximity and prices in general. So, in respects to New York, I think a lot of people that expect to live here have a lot of, you hear a lot of things on the internet, wherever, that New York's dead or it's never gonna be the same. People are moving. That might be the case. It might not be the case. We don't know. It's just those things that we have to take it with a little grain of salt and figure if that makes sense. But just curious if anybody here has any opinions as to, is proximity is something relevant to real estate. What do you think, Zach? You think it matters where you
So I mean, one thing, when I was buying my properties several times over, one thing people would tell you: location, location, location.
Right.
You might as well buy a lesser property, but in a location where it's proximity to the subway, proximity to the city. Like, for example, when I came to this country in '94, Long Island City was selling their condos for $40,000 for 2-bedroom condos.
I remember that. City Lights, yeah.
And now you can't even sniff anything close to 1.6 million, 1.5, 1.6 million. And one of the driving up factors were that Amazon was thinking of coming over, and even without Amazon, it was a crazy real estate growth. And obviously, being close to the subway or Long Island Expressway, it's one of the top priorities, obviously, as far as it is concerned, and the properties prices and them growing up. And when I bought my property here in 2016, in fact, when I was closing, the lawyer told me, it was like I closed really late, like 5 months after, and the lawyer was telling me, like, listen, Zach, you can't find I was buying for $330,000, so you can't find anything close to that price, even 5-6 months after. So it's going by leaps and bounds, if it's the right location.
Yeah, I agree. And so you work in Midtown, right? Or you work in Manhattan?
Yeah, Times Square. Times
Square. Okay.
Well, now I work from home.
Right. I was gonna say, but now you've gone remotely, right?
Right.
So, do you think that's likely to change? Do you think your company or companies like yours are going to resume, this strategy of employment, or they're going to go back to, hey, yeah, take the subway to Times Square every day and stuff like that? What's your opinion?
I think not anytime soon, not until January at least. They told us we have to stay put until January. But there is companies that require the employees, half of the employees, like JP Morgan, to come back to work, Goldman Sachs, and those are the largest companies, financial companies, and the banks and stuff like that. So some of them do require. But, I think until January, essential workers like us will come back. If there is not going to be a second wave, which I think there will be, because of the fact that besides the COVID, you have a flu season, and that's going to be just terrible as far as I'm concerned. So,
do you think they're going to shut down again the same way they did in this past spring?
Well, knowing our glorious mayor, I wouldn't put anything past. I wouldn't put anything past him. But I want to hear other people's opinions too, as well.
Yeah. Regina, so you're in the DC area. Do you live close to where you work? Is there a commute? How's that set up with you?
Yes, I have sticker shock coming from Alabama, moved here to the area. My rent here is more than my mortgage back home. So, it's amazing. With that said, I'm close to DC. I'm like it takes me, I can walk, takes me 30 minutes to walk to DC. On the train, takes me 30 minutes on the train, and if driving, takes me 20 minutes, you know, so.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So I'm very close to there.
Do you see our glorious president?
I work in the backyard. I actually work in the backyard. So the saying in the building is, we stay in our yard and he stays in his, but I can throw a stone and hit the White House.
I found out that Harry Truman was walking around White House and like fixing stuff because he was, I guess he had a plumbing, background, and he was engineering background. So he was telling people that,
Yeah, and it's amazing. The buildings are very historical. They're very old. So I was very surprised at, how run down the buildings are on the inside compared to what we have in Alabama, right? So we kind of brand new, and a lot of the buildings have history. I went to work yesterday.
Mhm.
I went into DC. I drove. I could see everything compared to when I used to go downtown. You could not see where you were because of all the traffic and all of the people. And so now you can walk freely. You can see every museum. You can see every park. You can just see things, and it's nice. And a lot of things are boarded up, but I haven't looked at the prices of the property that's surrounded.
Now, let me ask you, do you like living in DC in comparison to Alabama? I imagine they're two different areas, right? Night and day?
It's not night and day. Well, it is, because here, like I said, I'm so close. I can do a lot of walking. There's a lot of park. I can really get outside. Alabama, you would think it's a lot of parks. It's a lot of things to do, but it's so hot. You wouldn't enjoy being out.
Regina, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Regina, you muted yourself. Let me unmute her. So, hey, Regina, hello.
Okay. Guess we lost her.
Okay, you got me?
Oh yeah. I know what was happening.
No, you were saying that Alabama, it's a lot warmer, and people not so out and about like they are in inner cities, right? Kind of sort of situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you like where you live, DC?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. I'm in Virginia, like I said, right there on the cups of Virginia, Maryland, and DC, and I just love it. I do. So,
and the weather is much better than Alabama.
And the weather is so much better.
So what I'm trying to get at is that obviously, is there a cost of living difference between the two cities? Yeah.
Yes.
You're willing to pay more to live in DC, which obviously has a little bit more culture. I'm not trying to knock Alabama, because I know you're an Alabama girl. But there's a little bit more going on there, and there's probably more restaurants, and there's probably more tourism, and there's probably more museums. I love museums. Stuff like that. So you're willing to pay more to live there because you think it's a more
I'm in my midlife crisis, but however, the pay is more, and it kind of compensates. So I'm actually paying this. If I was in Alabama, my lifestyle has not changed, right? So although I was making less than Alabama, I still maintain the same lifestyle, although it's more expensive. On this end, I make enough to compensate for it. So it balance out.
Right.
So my home in Alabama is 1,500 square feet, 2-story, backyard, front yard, $120,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
As here, I'm paying probably over $300,000 for that type of house, right?
Well, you want to know what are you gonna pay in New York?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, no,
I thought you were gonna say
$300,000 to buy you a toilet.
Yeah,
No,
he's not kidding. He's not kidding.
Not even a toilet. I'm sorry. It'll be like a shack in the woods.
Wow, so I thought DC was much more than that.
Well, I'm not DC. I'm in Alexandria, and if I was
Sorry.
right,
Okay, right, you said that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So DC, so that same size house. My brother, I have a brother that actually lives in DC.
Yeah.
Now his first house was 2-bedroom or townhome row house, was 2 bedrooms, and it was well over 300,000. Now he moved into a house, and it's pretty big, and it's over $1 million, and that's in DC.
Right. That sounds right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. So I do see the difference, and even in Maryland, if I want that house, my size house from Alabama, to convert it to Virginia, Alexandria, is 300 to 400,000 for that size house. For DC, it's during their $1 million. And in Maryland, it may be right between 300 and 250 and 350. So it's a tad bit different when you go from state to state. So I've been pricing all of that to get a good comparison.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Overall, I was supposed to have a realtor friend of mine, Ashton, to come in. That he's so knowledgeable, a little bit too knowledgeable for our money. But anyway, he overall sales have been up, right? People think, oh, it's a pandemic, it's a crisis, who's going to buy right now? Who knows if they're going to still be employed, this and that. But every banker, every realtor, every broker that I have been speaking to, because even though I'm not buying anything right now, I like to, keep tabs of what's going on, kind of like what you guys do with the stocks market. And there has been no sloth in sales and purchases and so forth. It is crazy. I think the last time I heard it increased by 4% compared to last year's price this time of year. So people are definitely buying now. I guess they're buying in different areas and buying different types of homes. But yeah, as far as we're concerned, real estate has not slowed down across the board. Now, the average price of a home is somewhere between 330 and 400,000. That's across the board. Obviously, that doesn't apply to the Northeast area like New York and New Jersey and Connecticut, stuff like that. I think the average price for a one-family house is somewhere in the ballpark of 700,000. Now, I know that's how much it is in Queens, unrenovated.
Right.
And
That's about right. That's about right.
That's how, yeah.
I mean, you have like a watered down areas, like Jamaica versus
right. You're absolutely right. Yes, I kind of lowball that. You're absolutely right.
A gut rehab.
Exactly. A shell
needs 150 worth of work.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell I got that price from. You're absolutely right, guys. Yes, I would say a good house in maybe a B-class neighborhood with decent schools. Let's just say, I'm just going to throw a neighborhood out there, Fresh Meadows. Okay, Fresh Meadows, anybody knows that neighborhood? I would say a house there is about $850,000-900,000 for
that's correct.
Two to 3 bedroom.
My nephew bought a house there a year ago for $1.1 million. And let me tell you, I wouldn't even shit there. It was not a good. It's the
in Fresh Meadows.
In Fresh Meadows. Yeah, there's a Jewish area, Orthodox area.
Yes.
Right on the main street, and when you go through the streets, I mean, it's a nice neighborhood now, but it's not worth it. I mean, you just go a little bit further down, you get a much better, house. And he put so much work in it, and I can bet you right now it's about 1.4 million. It's crazy. The prices have been, because there's not enough space for everybody in New York, and people keep piling on. If not Jewish, then Chinese buy it. If not Chinese, then Koreans buy it. There's always growth. There's always new families coming in with a lot of cash, and they want location more than anything. I remember in 2003, I bought my house. And I came in to buy my house, and the guy next to me came with 2 suitcases, cash. He goes like, he's going to be taking a loan. I don't want that. I will just pay him, open the suitcases, $300,000 in the suitcases. I was like, wow. And of course, he took his offer, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, cash is serious. That speaks volumes. Where they get this cash is
I
beyond.
know. Where do they get this cash from? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, exactly. Especially
Patriots Act does not, I mean, when we used to be, like in the 70s, when a lot of Jews that came to the United States in the 70s, what they used to do is you obviously couldn't transfer money from Soviet Union to America, right? So what they used to do is they used to transfer between each other. So what they do is one guy would pay somebody in Soviet Union to another guy, and in here they'll do the same transaction within the family. So it's a family to family. So this guy there is paying, that one was $1 for the dollar and ruble were the same at the time. It was in the 70s. So you would pay $30,000 in rubles to a family member that's in the United States, and that other family member in the United States give him 30,000, American dollars to another guy, and that's how they transfer money between the families. And the money didn't exchange countries; it's just within the country they would pay each other. Otherwise, they would have to send each other money. This way, if there's a transaction happening between themselves. So.
Oh wow, interesting. Well,
Yeah.
that explains it. That's
And
one way. Yeah.
some people came here in the 90s. There was two waves. The first wave from my country came in the 70s, and they made some money, and they kept all that money. And then when the rest of the relatives came in the 90s, they already had money. They came in and all they weren't broke. They came in, and because of all the transferring of the money, over the years, they bought their houses, they bought their businesses. They came to a set situation. So imagine immigrating to the United States, and you already have everything set for you.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. But I'm not. But what about the ones that are buying these Manhattan properties, these high-rise buildings that are going up every other block? Those nice views. I think that's all Russian, Chinese people that have hedge funds, or I don't know how they're getting.
Not hedge fund. Oil industry in Russia is, if you work for, I don't know if anybody knows Gazprom, and everybody in Russia works with Gazprom, basically, and they make crazy money. That's one of the richest companies in the world. And it's a government-based company, but everybody that's high-end there, or bureaucracy, they send their kids here. They buy penthouses in Long Island City, or they buy penthouses in the cities, and it's cash, $50-60 million, like nothing to them. It's not us working and breaking our backs, man. Those guys are coming in with real cash, and it's for us. They're going to tell us, oh, it's going to take 6 months for you to close. Those guys don't close; they bring cash. Very hypocritical, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. So I have a question for the group, particularly people that are in New York and are investing in New York. Do you think New York is an area you want to invest in real estate wise?
New York City, no.
Why?
Why? I mean, it depends how you want to live. Like, I think there's money to be made in any market for sure. But like, for instance, a lot of people that I know that are investing, they're doing like room rentals, which is not legal, right? You have to have I think you have to special permits and stuff like that. And then you have to have different licenses. You have to pay more taxes on it, I believe. But what they do is they'll basically take a house, they'll put as many bedrooms as they can, and then they'll rent out those bedrooms. And if they get a citation or violation, they tear it down, and then, maybe later on they build it up again. But it's like black market stuff. It's stuff that's illegal, but you're not supposed to do. Or one of my friends said that like he knows a sheriff, and he could get anybody out of the place for like $5,500. I'm not $5,500, $1,500 and $2,500. He just shows up, with the paper. They have to get out the same day, but it costs you anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500.
Wait a minute, without going to the courts?
That's what he said.
Oh, no pause to that.
I would question that, Aaron. I happen to know I wouldn't say I know a sheriff, but I know somebody that knows a sheriff, and I actually had dinner with him, and they're very by the book. So if this guy is doing stuff like that,
maybe this is the Bronx. Maybe we do things differently in the Bronx.
Perhaps, but
you know what? The thing you got to remember is your friend. I don't know if you're Jewish, right?
Me, no, I'm Christian.
Okay, what? I'm sorry. What's
but
the
I'm
other?
Still your friend.
I know.
Who's Zach?
Yeah.
Oh, me, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in my community I have a story for you, actually. I remember I had a guy I knew. He was a construction guy, and a lot of people in my community they do that. They come from I guess from Uzbekistan, and they send a lot of the native people or indigenous people who are Muslims. They come
Right.
here and they live 15, 20 of them live in one one house and stuff
Right.
like that. And so what they do is that they're not related to each other. One could be from one city, could be from another city. And this guy, a construction guy, said, one time he got called to this Bukharian family house, and he goes, "Listen, I need to break it down in 16 pieces." One house, and he goes, "Dude, I'm a legit construction guy. I do high end stuff." He says, "Yeah, I need high end. How much you want me to pay?" Because he was making $700 a pop
Oh yeah.
for each person, and you can imagine. At one point I was thinking of buying this place, but I got scared because everybody approached me and they were like, "Zach, please do not kick us out. We have another family coming." I said, "What do you mean? I have like 15 strollers outside and literally like 40 people living in one three-story house." I was like, "What the hell?"
Well, right. So let me just where I was going with this is he brought up the Soviet Union, and look, even back in the 80s or whatever, you could probably get anything you wanted in the Soviet Union if you knew the right people and if you had enough money.
Correct.
Because the market is stronger than any government, no matter what. Look, most drugs are illegal, right? But if you go in the right neighborhood in the right time of day, you can get anything you want drug-wise, right? So for me, the question is like, how do you want to live? Like, I don't want to mess with that stuff. Because number one, I don't know anybody in politics or any type of, I don't know that sheriff. I don't know him personally. And you pissed off the wrong person and they were good with you. And then the next thing you know, they're giving you a hard time. I don't want to worry about any of that stuff. I have one plan and one plan only. I do things just the way I want to do it and follow the laws. So I think for New York City, what are you going to do? Flip houses? There's no deals that I can see that are good for flips unless you find an empty lot or something. Look, there's something called a barrier to entry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, a lot of the people that live in New York, they use the politics and cronyism to basically influence the laws. They passed laws recently. Like if you're in the pocket of the politicians or they're in your pocket, you probably make that call to the sheriff. You get the person out, you get somebody in to pay.
That's right.
Look, that's just the way it is. So I'd rather go where it's more free market. Unfortunately, we live in the Northeast. There's really not many markets close to us that are like that, where you're going to pay less taxes for property. You're going to have better tenant landlord laws. It's just the way it is,
Right.
Philly's not bad, but what I learned there is if you don't have boots on the ground, people will swipe deals from you left and right, or they just don't like dealing with New Yorkers because they're afraid that we're going to buy up the whole town, which a lot of New Yorkers already have done. Once they passed those rent laws, I don't remember when it was. What was it, November last year, Sergio, or somewhere around then?
The rent laws?
Yeah, they recently redid the rent laws in New York. Basically, you can't raise rent unless you renovate the house or something.
I know about the security deposits. Like the landlord's no longer allowed to ask for 2 months security deposits, but I don't know about the rent increases. I mean, if it's in the lease, it's in the lease. You know what I'm saying? And
but I'm saying for new leases.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, this is. I don't. It's 2019. Let me see.
No, but I get what you're saying. So overall, you're saying the fact that things are so expensive that there's no room for profiting makes
It's not just that. Look, okay, think about it like this. I've heard of people doing crazy things like, because you get tax benefits. You could tell me better than me better than I can, right? And maybe does that affect your personal income as well?
No, it does not.
No.
It does.
What if you had enough properties? Do you think it would affect your personal income? In other words, you would pay less taxes for your day job if you had enough properties.
It all depends on how you justify things, Aaron. There's
Okay.
no two people alike. You have to have an accountant to justify things.
Don't you,
No.
do you get a portion back for your regular income? Forget about the
Oh.
real estate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do.
So-
They're completely
But related to the real estate,
separate.
right?
What's that?
Related to the real estate. So in other words, even though it's not related to your day job, don't you get money back for real estate because
Yes.
of your declared income? So I've
Correct.
heard of even lawyers buying like, big apartment buildings just so they can deduct on the tax benefits for their legals, like even properties that don't make any money because the tax benefits.
Let me tell you
literally-
something.
What's that?
Let me tell you something. If you probably don't already know, which I think you do, you get taxed up the gazoo with earned income, which is
Yep.
being employed. Whereas, what do they call it? Revenue income.
Passive.
Passive, yes, passive. Thank you. Passive. It is a free pass. It's a get out of jail
Yep,
card,
yep.
my friend. So
Pass, you get a pass.
yeah, for sure, monopoly. It's yeah, for you to have to work and get taxed 30-40% right out of check right from the gate. And then whereas if you get rent, if you get the same, let's just say you get $3,000 a month through your job and you get $3,000 a month through a few properties that you own, you're going to get taxed really hard on the job, not on the properties. And
Yeah.
here you didn't even have to work for that rent. Think about it. I collect rent, and no, not that I don't do work. I have to deal with my share of bullshit too. But it's
But
still
you don't
work.
pay taxes on it ultimately. You may pay some taxes up front, but you get your money back at the end of the year or at the end of the
Yes,
you get
that's
your
correct.
refund, you get your money back.
Correct,
Yeah.
because I have repairs, I have depreciation, and I have interests, and not all the
You can also
government.
deduct on the income as well. The rental income you also deduct on.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
That's right. So no, as far as tax strategies, oh no, real estate's the way to go.
right. So what I was saying is I've even heard of like lawyers buying a whole building. It doesn't make any money, but because they have such a high salary, they get money back. I
Yeah,
believe.
okay,
Oh,
I see that.
Yeah, you
I've
too.
heard of that. I don't know exactly how it works, but
$750 in taxes. Yeah, you too can be like Trump and only pay $750. Yeah, in real estate you can.
that's
Because
the
it will
goal.
offset, because that property, that income from the property, or the deduction or the loss of income from the properties will deduct your personal taxes as well.
Yeah.
So it'll offset it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason that, look, the income tax, people like to talk about like the rich don't pay taxes, this, that, and the other thing.
They don't.
Statistically, it's not true. The rich pay actually most of the taxes, but you know what? Nobody should pay any taxes because we didn't even have a income tax until 1913. And it was to pay for World War I. And after that, they weren't, the only rich people paid income taxes originally.
You
But-
said 1913?
Yes.
Okay, that's a
There
long time.
was no
ago.
income tax until 1913.
Yeah,
And
but how was the world? I mean, do you think we had what we had then compared to now? For
no, the
1913?
country was much richer proportionately.
But we didn't have any roads.
Yeah, I was gonna
We
say.
had roads.
I don't
We
think the
had roads.
infrastructure probably wasn't the same.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
No, people misunderstand this stuff a lot. They're always like, "Who will build the roads?" The roads existed before the government even existed.
Aaron, do you think you
The
can come to
Romans
my...
built the roads.
1 second, Sergio. Aaron, do you think you want to come to my history podcast? You'll love it because
Oh, he'd
we
be
have
great.
a lot.
He'd be
You'll
great.
be great in it because you know a lot of history.
Smart, yeah.
I look at trends and stuff like that and kind of like counter, I guess you'd say like, not anti-history, but it's basically like I'm the conspiracy theory guy. Except I don't believe that our rulers are reptiles. I just think they're bad people.
Reptilians.
Exactly. Reptile. I like reptiles. You know what I'm
They
saying?
need
They're-
money.
Sergio, you have
Reptiles are-
another.
hey, listen, a reptile never did anything that the politicians did to me. So the reptiles, I'll put them in the good category.
Yeah, exactly.
People have this misconception. You know, if we did away with the income tax, you know what the government spending level would be if it was just based on tariffs? Like just the tariffs alone.
What?
2004 levels.
2004.
Yeah, what the government was, what the tax revenue was in 2004, we could just do off of tariffs. It would be the same amount, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So in other words, whatever money was taken in, it was 2004 levels if we just did tariffs today and just got rid of the income tax. The income tax is BS. And
Which
it wasn't
is,
even properly ratified. Like, it wasn't even properly voted on. If you look at the vote calls, it was the same thing they did with the Federal Reserve. They voted in on a low attendance day, like a Christmas morning or something like that.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
Thanks
this
for
is
sharing
what
that.
they like to do.
Sergio, we're historians. We don't know this. We gotta do one of those,
The
financial.
financial stuff is crazy.
Aaron used to be. I mean, we were actually, Aaron. You'd really appreciate this. We were doing the World War II, the Pacific War, theater, and
That's like a 16 volume presentation.
No. But I'm just saying, we did the finance of war, and it was incredible. You would have really enjoyed it. And the financial part
the
of it.
Rockefellers, the Ford
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was, basically, it's like blowing our mind because we don't know a lot of this stuff.
I knew that stuff. I knew it.
You see, you should have came. And then
we got to
It
do
was also the Bushes. The Bushes that funded them as well. They
That's
funded
right.
the Nazis. The Bushes did.
Ford, yeah, exactly. Ford. Yeah.
At the end of this presentation, Zach's going to show a little video I did about the Rockefellers. It's very short.
Oh my
I hope you
goodness.
guys like it. But anyway, I want to get onto the last slide, which is the second slide. Whereas, okay, so where do I think, and again, I hope you'll participate. Hey, Ding, you still there?
No, Ding is gone.
Oh, that loser.
You ding the Ding. He doesn't like tax talk. He's like, oh
I
my
guess
God.
I scared him
Makes
off.
me sick now.
He just wants a stock trade, man. That's where I'm
Yeah.
I was giving a stock presentation before, so we're gonna continue on that. Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah. No. Zach knows a lot about trading and stuff like that. I'm very, very limited with that kind of stuff. But okay, so so this is how I would go about it. People that want to invest after the pandemic, right? If we even get after it, because we're still in it, and perhaps we're still experiencing more ahead. A lot of talk is people moving to small cities with population growth, right?
Mhm.
And some of those cities, from what I read, are Nashville is one of the top ones. Ben Shapiro is moving there. If you guys didn't hear about that. Tulsa, Oklahoma is another city that's in fact there's employers that are giving there's companies that are giving incentives, $10,000 bonuses to people that move there. Okay, so Tulsa, Arizona is one. Florida, there's different cities in Florida, but Florida in general, people are moving there, and Ohio. And I've talked about Ohio, Aaron. I think I mentioned that to you, that I wanted to invest in areas like
I know
Columbus.
some people that do it. It's supposed to be,
Yeah, you
you
told me.
can find some good returns there. 2%
Right.
yield, stuff like that.
Right, and that's what I'm looking for, and it's a lot cheaper than this neck of the woods. So small cities with slowly population growth, and I'm not talking about like now because of the pandemic. I'm just going like if you go to the Census Bureau website and look at trends, you see what's been moving. I mean, what areas have been growing and change license plate changes, driver's license. But when they change their license, you can see someone just moved to that city. So that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see it growing steadily. Like, for example, 2000.
What do you mean change a license?
Huh?
What do you mean change a license?
So when you move to another city.
Oh, I got you. They register their new license there.
Right. And that's an
you.
indicator that goes into the Census Bureau website. And so it starts to see, okay, we have 300 new driver license from this state, this past month. So that tells you that people are moving there, So that's one way of finding out. Another area or another aspect to consider in an area that you want to invest in is diverse employment. And what that basically means is that, you don't want to focus on an area where everybody's employed in one specific industry, right? Example, let's say Orlando comes to mind. I don't know why I'm just thinking Orlando. I'm thinking Orlando. Orlando has a huge job sector that's usually includes the Walt Disney parks and the SeaWorld and Universal Studios. And those are kind of like the things that people go there. It's very, very touristy. And so a lot of people are employed there. A lot of hotels, restaurants, a lot of parks. So that is something that most people, not most, but a lot of people will be employed in. However, it's not that diverse, because if something happens to that industry, for example, a pandemic where nobody could travel, well, guess what? You're going to get a lot of employment. So if your tenants are relying on those jobs, well, that could put you in a bad spot, God forbid, if something happens, right? But if you're in an area where, there's finance, and then there's fashion, and then there's commerce, and then there's arts, and then if you have a little bit of a diverse, like a lot of main cities, Chicago, New York, and so forth, Seattle, that might be something you want, okay? That's diverse employment. And then obviously cash reserves. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You want to have at least 6 months, used to be 3 months of your income, right? So if your mortgage is $2,000 a month with taxes and everything, you want to have at least $6,000. And that's 3 months. But now you want to have double that, okay? And so, which is not easy for everybody, but that's kind of, the more the better. It's safer. And then the last one is at least 3, and then it's hard to come up with 3, but at least 2 exit strategies. For example, you buy this house in Ohio and you're going to rent it out, and you're going to get tenants, and it's going to pay for the mortgage and a little bit of money in your pocket, so you can put another investment. That sounds great, but that doesn't necessarily is always going to pan out that way. You always have to have another plan B and a plan C in case, it doesn't work out that way for whatever reason. Let's just say, there's, I don't know, another shutdown, or let's just say you have bad tenants, they're not paying. Maybe you want to, one option, maybe have a partner that you had a conversation with beforehand. Hey, would you want to come in with me? So that, if this way it'll be less burden on your back. That's one option. Another option, if Airbnb is applicable in that area, not all places are, but let's just say that's something that you might consider,
Serge, let me stop you right now. Airbnb is going public. Do you think that's something that we should look at, or that sector has been dead?
It's going public. I mean, that just happened while this is all happening, because they got pretty hit hard, so they decided to go public while during post-pandemic era.
They're going public. They didn't. Yeah, they're going public soon.
I think that can only be good, right? That can only be good.
No, I mean, like, what if the industry got hit so hard?
That's what I'm saying.
Initial price of the stock would be really low, because of the fact, like, just to give you an example, Bekke, right? Bekke is the real estate in China. They're like Zillow. They're online Zillow for China. So they provide the advertisements of the new properties and whatnot, sales, buys, whatever. Now that stock, it went from 20 to 63 in a matter of a month and a half.
Wow.
Now Airbnb, then what is it going to price? I mean, that's real property. Now Airbnb, if they're hard to rent, and what the stock is going to be like at 5 cents. I mean, how much you're gonna? What is the IPO going to be like?
I mean, that's all based on legislation, right? Laws that will prohibit, Airbnb from operating from certain areas, which I don't think it's going to change drastically. I mean, New York obviously is not Airbnb friendly, which I'm kind of supportive of, because I work in hotels and they kind of like take business from us in some way or another. And obviously they encourage landlords to just Airbnb their properties, and to the point where residents will now be left. There was a housing crisis for a few reasons. Obviously, rents are high, things are expensive, and people were Airbnb their apartments, or landlords. There was a few buildings. I'm not talking about a guy with a 2-family house. Little buildings this guy was Airbnb-ing, and he was making a killing, renting it, for 3 times the amount if you think about it monthly. And obviously the DOB in the courts, summonsed him. But yeah, think about all those people in that building that would be living there. Otherwise, now they have to find a place to go, and then it is just crowded as enough. So I don't think Airbnb is ideal, or at least to be more controlled in cities that just have a little bit of a housing issue. New York's definitely one of them. Again, this is before pandemic. Now people are moving away, so who knows how that's going to pan out. But yeah, I would watch that stock. That's what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily jump it, but again, I'm not too privy in those type of things.
What about Hilton and Marriott? What is your thought on that stock, on those stocks? Hilton has been kind of making a comeback.
They closed the Hilton Times Square.
Oh, by the way, did you hear today that Disney fired like 19,000 employees?
Yeah, they laid off. Yeah, Disney. Yeah. I'm not completely surprised. Yeah, I mean, they're not getting the overhead. I mean, I know that they open those parks and they have certain, they're following certain guidelines with the social distance and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe it affects the traveler because those things are expensive. I haven't gone in 100 years, but I don't know. Maybe people don't want to spend that kind of money right now, and I can only imagine the overhead that Disney has employing all those people. And the equipment that they have and restaurants, and it's a big deal. So yeah, we're not anywhere near from being normal, and stuff like that. Unfortunately, when it comes to like leisure, entertainment, that's not like on the top of everyone's list, especially if you're a working class or middle class family, lower middle class. Yeah, I'm not completely surprised. But to answer your question, Marriott, I think they'll be okay in the long run because they have a lot of properties and they have their name. But it wouldn't surprise me if they have to close some of their locations and lay off people because unless bottom line, if people can't fly, people can't travel. Yes, you could take road trips, you could, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And so I don't think. I think if you consider that industry, you have to consider the other industry with it. So however airlines do, hotels do. And how hotels do, airlines do. I think the two go together neck and neck. That's my opinion.
So maybe like before the stock price for the hotels go up, you'll see a spike in the airlines going up first.
Sure. That's certainly a possibility. I would pick one airline or two airlines and pick two hotel chains and see how they go.
Which airline would you have picked, Sergio or Aaron?
What would I pick? I don't know. Stock wise, you're the stock guy, not me.
Yeah.
But let's say, would you pick Spirit Airlines over United? Would you pick?
I think Spirit is the worst.
It's the worst, but it's making.
I want to get there, don't I?
People are taking chances with those cheap flights. So
Spirit is the worst, but financials say different. They say the Spirit is the best in financials.
Yeah.
And therefore, when you invest, you want to invest in the financially sound companies.
Yeah.
If you go on Spirit, they want you to strip literally to go on the plane.
Oh, maybe that's better. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to answer that question based on my experience, but yes, you enlightened me because I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to researching a company like that.
You know what is the best airlines right now? You would not believe. Alaska Airlines.
Yeah,
the best airlines out there with financials are through the roof. The two
what about JetBlue?
JetBlue, no. Is Spirit and Alaska Airlines the two top ones?
Why Alaska doesn't surprise me because they are a good company, but why Spirit when they're like the Dollar Tree or
if you go through Credit Safe and it evaluates the companies that pay their bills, basically that website evaluates if the company pays their bills. They're saying that Spirit is number one in all the airlines.
You know what it is? It could be they have little overhead or they just don't spend money on any of the stuff that's not necessary. And trust me, you feel it when you go. I only took one flight there once and I could tell, oh, wow, this is just they charge you for everything and they give you nothing. And they leave a bad taste. I mean, I'm not saying I hated the company, but it's really not a company. Like somebody who stayed in my property, because I work for a luxury hotel, and I hear Spirit, I'm going to look at them and say, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look at them in a weird way. Like you
Well,
got
I think you're
It means
alluding
it's
to
still-
the name. I think you're alluding to the name.
Yeah.
Because if you go on it, you better pray to the Father, the Son, and the
Be a
Holy
spirit.
Spirit.
You're be a spirit. Hey, keep messing with them. You will be a spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's
No,
what they
listen,
say.
it's not. You guys never heard that from anybody. Like spirit has got to be the one of the worst.
No, it
animals.
is the worst. But-
I would never fly spirit. I would not fly spirit. My spirit would not let me fly.
You know what is the best airlines in the world? And you would not, obviously, after Abu Dhabi and the
I know.
Aeroflot, which is the Russian Aeroflot. Let me tell you, while you're sitting on the chair, there's somebody massaging your feet. You know, there's like a full shower in the back. It's completely, it's amazing. Their business classes through the roof. I'm telling you, they feed you. I traveled to Russia. They feed you like 16 times. There's snacks in the middle. It's only like 9 hours. It's like you feel like a king. I'm telling you. And
Okay,
The
my
whole bag
favorite.
of peanuts.
I'm sorry.
The whole bag of peanuts.
No, the food is amazing. No, they give you a bistroganov. You know the bistroganovs that you try in
Oh
those,
my gosh.
in Russian tea room? That's what they feed you, and it's all great. And they tell you, like, if you want a kosher, they give you kosher food. If you want a halal, there's halal food. You know, if you fly Delta, you'll be happy to get any kind of bacon or anything. You'll eat anything. You'll change your religion just to get food. It's
My favorite airline that I ever flew, seriously, was Turkish Airlines. I was surprised how good that food was. I'm not kidding you.
I know.
That food was just like restaurant quality. Like I would fly just to eat. I don't remember what I ate, but I remember being so wowed. And it was a good company, good service, very comfortable.
Let me tell you,
that and Lufthansa.
Yeah, I was in Turkey in November. Okay, it was my last trip.
Oh wow!
For this whole, I was in Turkey in November, and I was surprised. I was in the Asian side of Istanbul. There's two sides. There's European side and there's the Asian side. And people were telling me like, "Oh, it's going to take you long to get to the Taksim Square, which is their, which is their center of the city." I go like, I don't care. That was the best decision I ever made to go to. They literally, I'm telling you, they kiss your feet. It's one of the best hotel. They had 7 floors, and 4 floors of it was, like the Turkish bath. I mean, 1 floor was just, Olympic-sized pool with massage chairs. 2nd floor was like all those, hammams, and if you know what hammams are. It's crazy. I was like, this is not, you enter I'm going to send a picture on our chat, on WhatsApp chat. It's one of the best. The gym is unbelievable. I felt like I was in Olympics or something.
And what hotel is this?
I thought it was called Renaissance in Asian side of Istanbul. It's Renaissance Hotel. Nothing to do with the Renaissance PE firm, which is private equity firm. This is outside of, and people were coming in by, there was 7 floors of the hotel. There was a bunch of people from Denmark. There's people from Sweden, Americans, and everybody's coming. Everybody speaks English. And it's amazing. The only thing I didn't like that is taxis. Taxis, it's they rip you off if they know you're foreign. You don't know anything. You don't speak the language.
Right.
They rip you off really. And it's not like Uber. You just call Uber and they know the set price. They set their own price. Even though you call online, they still set their own price.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, Sergio, you finished?
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I wanted to cover. If anybody has
Let me do my stack analysis on IBD quickly. For Regina, Aaron, and then I'll share the IBD now. So Aaron, IBD is Investment Business Daily. It's one of the analytical companies, and Regina knows. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through those 5 stocks I talked about. So we're going to start with a CrowdStrike first. So we're going to look at daily and the weekly, okay? All right. So just to give you an example. So CrowdStrike Holdings. So what do? Operate a software company that develops security solutions in the United States. Basically they provide cybersecurity solutions. So first thing we're going to look at the revenues. Their revenues from the prior quarter is 84% up. I mean, it's lower than the revenues from any of the prior quarters, but it's still pretty amazing. So CanSlim teaches us if the revenue is up at more than 25%, it's an investable company. Their EPS, earnings per share, is 125% up, which is absolutely crazy. The only thing that you have to look, you have to be in the top 40 of their sectors, and there are 79 of 197 sectors. So it's a computer software security sector. So it's a little bit red flag there, but not a big deal. So who are their competitors? You know, ZS, Sale, Octava, TNB, Nice. All right, and we'll look at them. They all their relative strength is really above 80, all of them, and the relative strength here is actually 60. So it's a little bit scary. Has to be above 80. So we have to look at a composite rating of this group is 94%. Okay. So what do we see on a weekly, right? So on the weekly, we see that a 50 volume average of their shares is 5.8 million, but they are actually above average by 6.3 million. So they're about like almost 600,000 more than the 50 weeks average, which is good. The studies tell us that it's passable, except their EPS was lower than 80, which is not, not optimal. And their volume up, they have 2 fails, so that's a little scary. So I'll just, keep taking a look. So what happened is IBD suggests that soon we're going to have something that's called a follow-up, where the volume of all the stocks in NASDAQ is going to go up. Right now, they do not see them going up. So like, for example, on the bottom, if you see the shares, they're saying all the NASDAQ shares, if you can see the volume is still lower, and they want the volume to be all the way up, and that will show us that it's a good correction mode, and technical stocks are again an investable item. So the next stock we're going to look at. So this is the type of look at, hold if you have it, and then don't buy it. Just take a look. Square. Let's look at Square. We see this industry is 23 of 197, so it's in top 40. That's already good. So what do they do? Provide point of sale software to manage receipts, inventory, sales reports with analytics. I told you they have a software to move the money, like Zales and Venmo and PayPal. All right, who are there? You can see their competitor, PayPal. So what do we see here? Their sales from the prior quarter is 64%. The funds that are buying it increased by 100, which is a good sign. But their earnings per share, even though it turned positive, from prior quarter it was negative, they're actually negative 14%. Means they're spending money. Maybe they're spending more on R&D and stuff like that. So what they're saying is they're also, from their optimal price, they're 98% out. It's 33 weeks out. So therefore, it's not an investable stock as of yet. But keep looking again. On a daily, it went up today by $4. On the weekly for the week, which is only 3 days, it went up by $7, up 4.5%. On up volume, only 1 fail, which is good. And the O'Neill study, we have 2 fails, which is they're saying their earnings per share over last quarter is negative, therefore it's failed. And their EPS is less than 80%, which is what we know, obviously. It's 72 right now. So let's go to the second one. So take a look, don't invest, but just make sure that you understand the volume should go up. They're saying that their volume right now is 22 million. Their average 50-week is 11 million, which is double, which is a good sign. All right, there's a lot of good coming from this, but let's just keep evaluating. Next one we want to take a look at is Livongo. Remember, that's basically, teleconferencing for the health professionals, and develop, operate digital platform to monitor members' chronic health conditions. All right, so their volume is within the line of average. What we wanted to see, usually we want to see at least 10% increase from the average, but it's not 10% increase, but still. So for the week, they're down. For the daily, from yesterday, they're actually up $1. But let's keep looking. So their revenue is crazy, 125% up from the prior quarter. which is crazy. And their earnings per share is 238% up, which is unbelievable. Who are their competitors? Drio, Dell, BLFS, Silk, TXG. Sometimes you have to take it for a grain of salt, the competitors. Now, O'Neill is only one fail because their EPS is 78 and it's 80. It's very close. So this is something you need to take a look at. Again, what they're telling us is in consolidation mode. They're saying that basically right now stock is going sideways. So it's just moving horizontal without going up or down. And it's actually very close to the pivot, which means it's 8% from the desirable price. So you got to be very, if you wanted to buy it, this is a good stock to buy as far as that is concerned. And Ken Slim teaches us the revenue has to be 25% up. It's 125% up. He teaches us has to be more than 20% in EPS. It's 38% in EPS. And their up-down ratio is 1.2%, which is also incredible, and has to be at 1.2%. So let's go to the last two ones as Beyond Meat. So this one broke out today. Let me just tell you what that means. Broke out, you see this particular shape, it's called a cup. All right, so when the price is at this point and then it scrolls all the way down, basically this cup has to then turn into the handle. It means the handle has to go up. Right now there's no handle, it's just a cup, okay? So they're saying to you that if this is turning into a handle, it keeps going up, which today was up actually, we're on the weekly. On a daily, it was up 11% today. I'm sorry, 10% it was up today, $14. But it didn't cross the desirable price yet. It's creating a cup. So it might be tomorrow, it will create a handle. Keep looking at it. If it's gonna create a handle, it means it's an investable stock. It's telling you right now, it's 1% from a desirable price, which is 1 week ago, it was a desirable price, which was around, around this area. So right now it's coming up, but it didn't come up all the way for you to invest yet. It has two fails. One of it is, earnings per share. It says NA, so it's hard to read, obviously. But their revenue is up 69%. But look at their prior quarters, and this might be alarming. The prior quarters were up, triple digits, and here's only up 69%. So you got to be careful with that, So tomorrow we're going to look to see if the handle creates, and the stock is going to hit. At least is going to hit 170 for you to be investable. Okay. So next one we're going to look at is Beckett. Now Beckett, that's the newest IPO, so you got to be careful. So on the daily right now, it went up by $4.24. Like I said, there's not a lot of factors. Their earnings per share, it's still less than 80%. 80%. Well, let's see what the earnings per share actually. I don't understand why it's saying 39%, but there's nothing to evaluate from before. Their revenue is up 71%, but it's a new IPO, right? We don't know how it behaves. It didn't create something that's called an IPO base yet, but everything looks promising. The stock went from being $22 when it created an IPO, when it from IPO, it doubled to $65. So something to look at, but might be a long-term investment. And it's also 49 or 197. So that's the last one we're going to look at, guys. And any questions?
You know what? I would say what kind of things do you look for? What are indicators that you like to look for before you buy stocks? You personally?
Sure. So I use another software called, I use the IBD software. The indicators I look at whether that stock creates something that's called a cup and a handle, right? So whether the stock is going up from a desirable pivot point is a desirable price. Let's say $160 was a desirable price. It went up to 163 and then it keeps going up to 167. Means it's creating a stability within 5 to 6 days or one week, and it keeps going up in creating that handle. It has to go up for me to be an investable stock, for me to invest in the long term. And other indicators, let me share it. It's something that's, I don't know if you ever used Thinkorswim, Aaron. So on Thinkorswim, we have something that's called a scan process. So Thinkorswim is offered to us through Charles Schwab, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade. I'm sorry, yeah, TD Ameritrade. And
Yeah.
when you scan the stock, it tells you whether the stock is, up in volume, what the price has changed. You can add different kind of indicators to it. So let's look at, let's say, the stock that went up the most today, right? Per volume. So today we had Beyond Meat. The volume was up 10%. I'm sorry. The volume was at 20 million. 20 million today shares traded for Beyond Meat. Okay. Let's look at that stock, and we'll look and analyze the chart. Okay. So on the chart, you see this dots, not dots, errors. Those are called TTM scalper alert. When you made your analysis and you went over, I'm sorry, this is the wrong stock. Let me put Beyond Meat. BYND. All right. So when you did your analysis in the IBD, then you have to come here and determine whether the TTM scalper, which uses the volume and price to tell you whether a stock is a buy or sell. And when it tells you that the stock is a buy and sell, it will give you this error, I'm sorry. And right here, it's telling you that at $129 on a daily chart, it's basically a 10-second chart, daily chart. They're saying at $129 on September 9th, this was a buy stock, okay? And it's telling you right now, I don't know if you can, we're gonna do one presentation on candle, Japanese candles. You see this candle going up? This candle going up indicates that this stock has a volume to go up more, okay? So right now the stock is 163. It's gonna keep going up until 167. This candle tells you that it was a buy at 99 at the time when you were trading at 99, and there's still time, there's still more room for it to go to 167. You understand?
Right.
And this is a TTM scalper alert, and it's a study that was developed. You see, if you press here on this beacon, it basically tells you to add that study to your chart, and then you type TTM scalper alert, and you see it says scalper alert, and if you press it and you add it to the chart, it tells you when to buy and sell. There is another study, it's called PPS, John Persons, and I can do a presentation next week also. It's called PPS. It also tells you whether to buy or sell a stock based on the volume and price consistency of that particular stock. And these candles tell you how high it might go. I mean, it might crash. That's why you have to do both. You have to do IBD. You have to learn where the sales were up, where the EPS was up. The CanSlim teaches you basically those type of factors. What is CanSlim, right? Just in a couple of words. CanSlim, every letter stands for something. C stands for current quarter earnings. Remember we went over current earnings? Current quarter earnings have to be 25% up from the prior quarter, okay? Second letter, A, annual earning growth, okay? You have to see if there's annual earnings of 25%. So take all those 4 quarters, was there a 25% increase? N stands for CAN, N stands for new product or services. Is Beckett a new product or services? No, Zillow, Beckett has been around for a long time. What is a new product or services? Tesla, EV, electronic vehicles, Expand, Neo, those are the new product or services with Tesla, obviously. S stands for supply and demand. Is there more outstanding shares versus the shares that are issued? So you have to look at that stuff. Then laggard or leader. Is this stock a leader in its sector? Well, remember we looked at, Livongo. Is this a leader in, telecom? Is a Livongo leader or telecom is a leader? How many other competitors are there? Is it a leader in its own right? Then I, institutional sponsorship. Remember we looked to see, and let me stop sharing here, that institutional sponsorships. That's how many institutions buying this particular stock. Here, if you look at it, let's take Beyond Meat. Let's take Beyond Meat, for example. BYND, right? Aaron, if you look at here, this is how many mutual funds and institutions are buying stock. So in March 2020, 280 institutions buying it. They're increasing it by 100. Do you think it's a good stock? Yeah, of course it's a good stock. This is all institutional investors, big money coming here, and so they're telling you that if it's increasing, it's a good sign. Market direction. Are you going to invest in hotel in leisure industry right now, or are you going to invest in the techs? You're going to invest in the techs, and I'll tell you also that's your market direction. So those are the Can Slim products. I mean, Can Slim tenants that you have to go by to evaluate the stock. If you're evaluating it, and then you're looking the sink or swim, which is offered to you for free, by the way, by TD Ameritrade, and you can put those scalp alert and PPS, which evaluates volume and a price, then you will be able to determine whether to buy a stock or to sell a stock at a certain point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, we go through this every week, basically, and Regina knows. Regina also bought the book, How to Make Money, William O'Neill. How's that book, by the way?
It's getting dry, so I got to get down to the charts where I need to understand what the charts are saying.
Yes, and he developed this IBD system, Can Slim, and it's been working wonders for long-term investors. I mean, your buddy just went in and he said he makes 20% these days on a daily, right, Sergio?
Yeah, that guy, he's a real character. So he's a taxi driver. He owns a medallion. He loves to drive. His wife kicks him out of the house, and he drives and drives. I'm not kidding you. But he has investment properties. And again, I'm not knocking him. His wife manages everything, and she controls the whole thing. But then he just started telling me he was on this thing where he's making, he invested. I'm not really too keen on the specific the charts, the way you break it down. I get lost in that. I'm a one-track guy, and you can see that by my size. But anyway, and he does know a little bit about real estate, and he does know about that, so I thought he applied. But as you can see, he was driving, and what time is it now? Almost 9 o'clock, and chances are he's going to be driving to 10 o'clock, and then he'll go to Popeye's, have that sandwich, and he'll talk about it the next day on Facebook. I'm serious. That's the kind of guy he is. But
okay.
Anyway.
It's good. I mean, I definitely would like to hear about his swing trades and daily trading routine. I've not heard a person these days making 20% on daily. I mean, if he does it.
If I'm day trading making that much, I'm not driving a cab.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's such
exactly.
a BS.
No,
It's such a BS. Like.
No,
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not driving a cab.
He just started making that money. You're absolutely right, Aaron. He just started making.
I'm walking from one hot tub to another in my house with my computer. That's it.
It's exactly
20% a day.
Exactly. And first of all, everybody I know that probably makes millions more than this guy that told me and had lost so much money at day trading. It's not even funny. And they're experts at their business. Day trading is the wrong way to go.
He said it's 95% skill, 5% luck. Does that make sense to you? That guy, Ding.
Yeah, I'd like to know what he does. I mean, you must be, because you got to be at a computer every second, and you got to catch the the latest news. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. 2-3 weeks ago, I don't know, Regina, when I did my presentation on COVID-19 vaccine companies, right? Moderna, Novavax.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
BNTX. I didn't tape that. I should have recorded that. It was really incredible. And guess what? I mean, stupid me took and bought all of them, and bought one company called Inovio, and it was like at $11, and it kept going up. It took like $24. It was really good. And then yesterday they came in with news that basically their stage 2 testing was not approved by FDA, so they failed the stage 2, and that's what's going to happen with all of them. They're coming out right now. They're saying Moderna is the safest one, but who the hell knows? I mean, they're trying to come up with a medicine in such a short time.
That's why they say it's like buy the rumor, sell the news.
Exactly. It's like
penny stock trading is what they're trying to do. That's what day traders are trying to do, because you're not going to make any money off of is Hilton going to go up? Like, yeah, maybe you could buy X amount of shares, but you're going to make $10 when it does go up off of each share. you can't make serious money. But if a
Yeah.
stock goes up 300% in a day, you know, that's where money's to be made. And the only things that do that are penny stocks for the most part, or like a Beyond
Well,
Meat.
to give you an example, this company PLL, they do lithium batteries, and Tesla. Let me put them on the chart. So PLL, he went up by. Let me look at weekly. Hold on. Let me share this with you guys. So this company PLL. So Tesla basically reached out to them and they said, we need it's Australian-based company engaged in exploration and product of lithium in North Carolina, all right? So they need lithium for their batteries, Tesla, and they employed them. So the company, this stock went from
$7 to
$7
$37.
to $35 yesterday and went back down by like $10 today. How much was it down to? $11. So if you were, when are you going to catch that? That's crazy. This is daily chart right now, right here. It was a $7 and then went all the way to almost $54. And then it back down, and now it's back down, you know, it was actually at 18 and then went back up to 25. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you're investing long term, this is crazy.
No,
this is a
it's
heart
not.
attack.
But you know what? I think, I don't know what I'm talking about, but if I did know what I was talking about, I would have a plan beforehand of what I want to sell it at, what
Right.
money I want to make. And, you know, you got to look at, I think what it is like a lot of these guys, they're looking at the news for the catalyst. They're looking at the, you know, earnings per share sometimes, depending on what it is they're trying to trade. But the other thing is they're looking at like the float, like what stocks are actually available to trade. Because if there's just not a lot of stocks to trade, in other words, they're being held by the owners of the company or the people that they fundraised, you know, or they were their initial fundraisers and they have stock that they're just holding on to. You know, if there's not a lot of stock to trade, but this crazy news comes out, you know, you could get, you know, 1,000 shares at $7 and then, you know, it'll probably just spike, you know, but if it doesn't, you got to be ready to pull out. If it doesn't do what you think it should do, you need to get out and you're going to lose money. Like from what I've seen, there's maybe like, I've heard of like maybe one guy that gets it 85% of the time.
Right.
And he's like the best. And all he does is study this stuff 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, if you're driving a taxi and you're doing this, there's no way in hell, you get 20% a day. I mean, you got to be so good. I got to have like a crystal ball and saying like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's impossible because look, we just sat here and we did 6 stocks and we're evaluating them to a very detailed level. And it's not even that detailed. And he has to do that in a matter of seconds and to invest in it, right? And then you have to pull the money out, you have to reinvest it.
I think, you know, I mean, if you told me back in February, you're like, yeah, I make 20% a day, or March, I mean, that's feasible because things were going to hell. I mean, you didn't even have to know anything. You could have bought Apple stock. I know people that did. They bought Apple stock and then it came back up. They bought like 2 shares, made like $500.
Right.
So, you know, it's
Yeah.
doable.
I mean,
the whole stock market falls apart and then you buy it and then it's going to go back up eventually, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that's why long term is the way to go. And that's what we're looking at. So last thing I wanted to share with you as a scan, I was going through scan and then I went to the charts. So, and then before we jet out, sorry guys. So back to scan. Figure this thing out 1 second. So this is the stocks that went up today. So the things you want to look at, and then next week I'm going to teach you how to put the indicators for scalp alert and the BPF. So we'll tell you whether it's a buyable stock. And also right now I'm actually, showing you, you can trade paper money, right? This is, it's going to show you basically what went up for today. Beyond Meat was up 10%. Actually this Just Energy was down 40%. So maybe it's worth looking at because it was down so much. Then we have, if you know what Tortoise acquisition is, right? It's a truck, EV truck, electronic vehicle truck. It was up 12% today, 11.48. And look at the volume. It was crazy, 6 million. It's unbelievable. Snowflakes, Snowflake is a cloud company that was new, IPO. IPO was issued 2 weeks ago, and it started with 120, and then it in the first day to 220, and it's already 259. So something is probably worth looking at. But next week, I'll also teach people how to look at the new IPO. It has to develop a base, or first 5 weeks do not touch, because otherwise, could tank and all your money. So $250 to $60 is an expensive stock to buy, and it might tank. Shopify was up $59 or 6%. It's $1,000. I mean, if in March, if you were smart, you just buy Shopify on Amazon, you would have made a killing. BigCommerce, Carvana is unbelievable, but Carvana's competitor, VRoom, is not doing as hot. So, but you have to take a look. Maybe VRoom is going to be something that you have to look at. SolarEdge, a lot of those companies, and so forth, they're on. You can sort it however you want. You can sort it by percentage change, which is probably one of the best things. And then next week, I'll put the different indicators here so that you would know when the stock will tell you when to buy. And also, I'll put an indicator for after hours trading, because it also could be helpful. Like, for example, if you put a percentage change, Mizuho Financial was the highest percentage, but I don't know, I wouldn't touch anything financial related these days, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were the biggest ones, and they both have to pay penalties for illicit funds movement. So you got to be careful there. And let's just look at the price. Who went up by a price today? Shopify was the highest. Cayenne's, I don't know what they do. Beyond Meat was one of the highest. RH is a very good company as well. Omega, SolarEdge Technologies, and Aaron. Maybe I can add you to my WhatsApp, and I share every day. We talk about stocks every day. And we have a meeting only once a week, but we talk about stocks every day. Yeah, you can drop your phone number to my friend, and then I can show you all the stuff. And you can open this account, it's free in TD Ameritrade, and then you can go through charts, you can go through analysis, you can walk through Market Watch. There's different kind of news are coming through. I mean, they can actually trade money. I mean, if you invest $3,000, they can actually teach you all the stuff as well. So, and I can show you that as well, no problem. And IBD, I think it's for 2 months you're paying like $30, and which is that other website. So anyway, that's my scoop. So look at the companies that I showed you: Crowd, Strike, Square, Beckett, Livongo, and Beyond Meat, and just monitor it. I mean, don't invest, but keep monitoring. We didn't see the follow through yet. Volume is not up on the market yet, and therefore it's still not an investable time. But keep watching NASDAQ. That's all I'm going to say. Everything else is not worth it at this point.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Rachel, Aaron.
Yep. Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you, Aaron. I'll
Yeah.
see you next week, Thursday. Next week, Thursday, not
Next
Tuesday or
Thursday?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Next Thursday?
Oh, wait. Do you have time for my quick video?
Oh,
You
yeah.
want-
Let's see the video.
Oh, yes.
Can you
my
put up? I
buddy.
want to show Aaron and Regina and Rachel. So
Oh,
feel free to
man.
laugh at me.
Oh, my God. Listen, this guy is amazing.
No, it's not.
No, you're not?
It's a comedy sketch.
It's not. It looks pretty good. I mean, if you're coming on Sunday for the Morani dinner.
Oh, I thought it was Saturday. Okay, I gotta move things around. Yeah, I gotta go to Morani. Morani is like super
Yeah,
amazing.
and then we have to taste food and talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Eat some for
Let's
me
talk
for
about-
my birthday. Eat
No,
some for my birthday.
Oh
No.
yeah, birthday girl on the 4th.
Yeah.
Where did you send it to me? Oh, here, right here.
I sent it through I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Messenger.
All right, now let me go ahead and share this with everybody. Otherwise,
Regina, my birthday's the 3rd, so we're just a day apart.
Oh, we're birthday twins.
I know.
Yeah, happy
Volume?
Birthday.
birthday.
all right, I'm playing.
No volume.
I don't hear anything.
No sound?
No sound.
No sound?
No.
Hold
Can
on.
you-
No. Is there a
Try
sound
rewind
now?
I don't hear it. Try rewinding it.
I don't hear anything.
Hold on. No sound, huh? 1 second, guys. I apologize. I don't know why there's no sound. Can
Is
you
it
hear-
on?
What about now?
No.
No.
No, it's weird.
No sound.
You,
Huh?
you do it on a link? The link I sent
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I did it on the link. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange how it doesn't transfer the sound.
But you look good though. I can hear you though. Hold on.
You can hear me?
Let me
but-
reshare. Let me reshare. Let me share it again. And let's see. Can you hear?
No.
No.
All right, I'll send it next week. I'll figure out a way to do it. 'Cause
No,
don't
I
know.
will send it. I'll drop the link in our
Oh yeah, the WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, there you go.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
What
I
happens if you
apologize.
click on the volume button, Zach? You see the volume button?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
If you click on
hold
that,
on. It's all the way up. I can
Yeah,
hear
totally
it. Though.
up.
I can hear it, and you guys can't. Let me
Is
see.
it-
maybe because you have your headphones in?
Oh, you're right.
What if you unplug your headphones?
Let me. Oh, yeah, you're right, Rachel. You're right. Let's see, Sergio. Let's go.
1870,
Oh, you're a genius, Rachel.
Can you hear?
Start from the beginning.
and they built a saloon on the first floor, and they called it Hurley's. Hurley's was a popular place that was around for a good while. Now,
Let me start from the beginning. Can you hear, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear it.
hi guys, it's Sergio from Park Avenue Place, and I'm standing on the corner of 49th Street and 60th. If you notice the building behind me, it's got that classic weird city architecture with the crown homes. Now this is one of the only buildings. And the reason is because it was built around 1870. In fact, in 1892, 3 Irishmen came and they built a saloon on the first floor, and they called it Hurley's. Now, Hurley's was a popular place that was around for a good while. Now, fast forward to 1920s, where a man named John D. Rockefeller, yeah, that guy, wanted to buy up all the property so he could then develop what later becomes Rockefeller Center. And he needed to buy this building. However, the owners of Hurley's refused to sell. In fact, they made Mr. Rockefeller an offer of $250 million for him to leave. Obviously, he didn't accept it. So he had no choice but to build around them. And today, we have this wonderful piece of the past, lovely New York City architecture. And as an additional bonus, on the first floor, there's a bakery called Magnolia's. And if you don't know Magnolia's, it's been around since 1996. They originally started in the Village. Now there's multiple locations. And they're known for their delicious little cupcakes, all types of flavors. One of my favorites is the chocolate vanilla frosted. In fact, my colleague Bruni introduced that to me. Hi, Bruni. Anyhow, you check them out. They're also known for the banana pudding. So that's my New York City insight for today. We hope you liked it, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. So stay well and take care.
All right.
You guys think?
I like it. I like it. I
It
like
was,
it.
it was excellent.
Yes.
Very good job, man. Sergio, I'm gonna play tomorrow in history too.
Yes.
Seriously? What's tomorrow's history? Oh, Hitler?
Rising of Hitler.
Yeah, that goes
Are you
well.
interested in the
Yeah.
Rising of Hitler?
Yeah, exactly. Cupcakes and Hitler. That should go well. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Hey, listen.
All right.
He was a
Cool.
cop.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Rachel, thank you for helping.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel.
Rachel.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Aaron. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.